You're watching Simplify Motherhood by Dr. Alyssa Gall on Resonance Wellness TV, part of our Helping Dr. Mom series that seeks to inspire and educate about natural health and holistic family life. I'm super happy to have you in on this presentation about Simplify Motherhood. It's definitely one of the most exciting things in life to become a mom, and I'm honored to help parents be the very best versions of themselves after starting a family. So whether you're pregnant, planning to become pregnant, or have already welcomed your precious little one into the world, we're going to be exploring a few handy tips and tricks to simplify that transition to natural parenting and living with children by your side. So our lecture tonight comes out of the NUTURE Natural Care series from Helping Dr. Mom. So for many years, I've done in-person courses with parents about natural health and the philosophy of parenthood. Nowadays, everybody's online, and so I've had to make the switch too. So on helpingdrmom.com, you will see our parent-oriented lectures, our longer courses, and also the occasional specialty workshop. You will love our Acute Cares for Kids course if you have kids. This is the course that's the underpinning for every parent wanting to get the basics of how to take care of kids at home with natural remedies so that you just don't freak out. The most common question that I've actually had in giving those kind of courses over the years is about, or the biggest fear is literally that people assume that their children can die very quickly without them really having had a chance to treat them. And that's a very real fear from a psychological perspective, but it's actually not a very real fear from a practical perspective. And so what I found is that actually teaching people how to take care of kids from the time that they're little gives you that kind of comfort zone so that you feel pretty competent in taking care of your children on your own. And if you don't, of course, if you're patients of mine, there are pager services available. So because we're going to do this free webinar and we want to help all the Dr. Moms out there, that course is actually going to be $30 off for the month of October. And so if you don't have this course yet, you'll find the videos and handouts and remedy recommendations, a really amazing resource. And so you can get to the course site through Helping Dr. Mom or go right to WLMlearning.com. But if you want to do that for the discount, I'm going to give you the sign-up code for that. I'm just going to throw it into the chat box here. So if you press on that and go to that site, you can actually get that course for $67 instead of $97. So hopefully that will float your boat and you'll want to learn even more about how to help your kids. So to start with, it's not unusual when new parents find themselves feeling a bit trapped in the house, especially if it's your first baby that you're having. Sometimes I really feel like it's been a contest for new parents to try and see who can make it to the mall with their tiny newborn. But I think the ideal is somewhere in between hunkering down in the house and going to the mall. So a baby's whole body is a sense organ. It's really open to any and all impressions. So that impulse to hide in the house does have some truth to it. A small child is very sensitive to their surroundings. And when you expose a tiny infant to a mall, it's a bit of an overwhelming experience, especially when they're not in close physical contact with you. So consider using a baby sling to keep a small child close when going out of the house. You'll be hands-free and you'll be nursing ready too. So if you live locally to me, you can pop in at Babes in Arms, which is a shop that carries all sorts of slings. It's just down the road from us, actually. Once you're outside, even a few minutes in the fresh air can really make a big impact on your mood, especially if you feel like you might have some symptoms of postpartum depression seeping in. Symptoms of postpartum depression often include insomnia, loss of appetite, intense irritability, and difficulty bonding with your baby. And if you experience any of this, remember that over 300,000 Canadian mothers will experience this every year. And I found that improving the diet and supporting with herbal remedies can really mitigate this complaint. If you've also encapsulated your placenta, if you don't know what that is and you want to know, you can always type that in the chat box for me. I'll just assume you know what I'm talking about. That can really make the transition from pregnancy hormones to postpartum much more gradual. So, when you go outside, there's like fresh air, the warmth and the light from the sun a change of the scenery, and a reconnection really to the natural world, even in the winter. And that's a first important step to not only feeling more grounded, but it can also help you clean out your lungs, strengthen your immune system. It aids in your digestion, and it supports a healthy blood pressure and heart rate too. So fresh air is really good for your baby too. So if the weather's cooperating and you can keep your baby from being directly in the sun, which is a bit easier, like I said, in a sling up against you, you can sit outside for a bit and just listen to nature as your little one naps. Because hopefully they're napping. Sometimes they might also be really curious and interested about what's going on around you. Now, it isn't always the case that you'll feel completely bonded with your baby immediately, especially if you've been separated from your child just after birth or for medical reasons, and you didn't really have the chance to hold your baby skin to skin and nurse right away. It's a bit more common to not feel super bonded. And many new moms and partners feel really overwhelmed. This is a tiny, helpless stranger that essentially is shaking up every routine you've ever created, and that can really foster the feeling of feeling unbonded. So if you don't have an immediate bond, it's okay. Time works wonders, and it's important to stay positive while you're trying to navigate the changes. If you're concerned about your relationship to your baby, ask for help. You'll find that if you share your experience with other moms, many of them will report that their own feelings of bonding took time, or they came at a much later point than on first sight, especially if it took a while for a new mom to figure out how to respond to their baby's needs. So, make sure to hold your child skin to skin and really practice responding to cues that they want to be in your presence. Respond to eye contact and to sounds that they make, and immediately respond to crying if you can. You can learn baby language, like Dunstan baby language, and that'll help you feel really comfortable with what your newborn is asking for. And I think that if you actually have the chance to review that, because you can buy that on DVD, it's called Dunstan baby language. If you have a chance to review that before your child is born, you'll find that you can identify their needs very quickly, and that can help a lot in bonding, because sometimes the biggest problem in bonding is that you feel like you can't figure out what your child needs, and it's a very disempowering feeling. It's the same as if you couldn't figure out an adult, right? You couldn't figure out how to communicate with another adult. That would be really disempowering. So in Dunstan baby language, you learn the sounds that babies make to help you to respond to their needs. And I got that years and years ago from a patient of mine when I was pregnant too, and it was just brilliant. For the first 4 months of a child's life, they communicate almost entirely with the same sounds. So you'll really find that to be a great option. Now, a few other things you can do to accelerate bonding processes includes incorporating your baby into things that you enjoy doing. So if you're staying at home with your child, you might like to walk or jog or do photography. Other ideas are like, just make sure you're talking to your baby as you make dinner. You can enjoy skin-to-skin time, like I said, safely co-sleep, listen and learn their audible cues and provide them with some bedtime massage, or turn diaper changes into your own little story time. I mean, they will actively listen to you. They might not understand totally what you're saying, but they're gonna listen to you. And I think too, one of the biggest problems is we're so used to portraying ourselves as being tough and strong and independent that we simply don't allow ourselves to be supported when we need it most, which is really after birth. So birth can be physically traumatic to the body and to the emotional body. If you are yet to give birth, make sure that you ask at the clinic for the trauma and healing homeopathics and herbs that we make for this period of time, for bruising, tearing, and swelling in the perineal area, and for baby's umbilical cord healing. And also consider using perineal massage for you prior to birth. And don't forget the calendula peri-bottle rinse and the frozen calendula pads for postpartum. I've supplied midwives in these cities with these remedies for a long time, and you can always get a hold of them at our dispensary, or either like physically, or you can order them online. So a strong support system is really consisting of your partner, your mom, or your other close female relatives, or your close friends, some of whom might also be moms or just really great and empathetic, they'll serve as a great foundation for help. Don't include people that make you crazy. Include the people that have seen you at your worst and still like you anyway, and vice versa. If you know there's people who, might be hurt that you're not including them, sometimes it's just a question of saying, I just need this right now, and so I'm going for this. You have to be clear sometimes. And most people who are moms will totally understand that. Whether it's a tight-knit community of longtime friends or a new group of moms you're going to find in a walking club, at the park, or online, the supportive advice that you gain from those who've been in your shoes can make a world of difference. Don't forget to get your therapeutic team going too. A pregnancy chiropractor, a massage therapist, a lactation consultant, and of course your naturopathic doctors can be so useful in the first months of recuperation. Having your baby checked over by chiro is highly recommended post-birth, ideally within 3 days. You just want to see how, when they exited the womb, what that kind of did to their body. It's a big neck twist to do that. And having a pediatric chiropractor can really help with your baby's alignment and also with their nursing ability. So look into some moms group, and feel free to post any links to new moms groups or events with us too. Now, it's really important that your baby fits into your life instead of having your baby become the sole focus of your life. We do need to be available in different ways for babies, especially in early months and years, but it is a mistake to edit out all of your fun stuff because of a new infant. The same is true of adding a baby into a family. The baby has to fit into how you do things, and if you have strong routines, it's much easier to handle additions. If you have passions as an individual, continue to make time for those things. Some of the things that you love to do might be able to do with your baby in tow or involve them in some way. Do you like to hike? Be prepared with a specialty stroller, a wearable baby carrier. Do you like to swim? See if there's any newborn swim classes or recommended gear. Chances are you like to enjoy something that's not entirely safe, like maybe woodworking, horseback riding, or a good workout at the gym. But don't be encouraged from enjoying these things. You'll just have to come up with a list of people you can trust to babysit and start planning and imagining how you can spend some time doing your own soul-feeding activities. Spending all of your time with your baby might not be enough to really feed those parts of you, but remember that if you're happy and fulfilled, you're teaching your children to be that too in their own way by observing you. So it's good for baby to socialize with others, and it's good for you to recognize that you don't have to give up on your own hopes and dreams. A happy you is a happy mother for baby. Babies are incredibly good at turning our world upside down, and this can put huge stress on your relationship with your significant other. It's hard for partners to be connected to the experience of having a baby as you've been, as your bodies change with every passing week. So you might find yourself hormonal or occupied with breastfeeding, not liking the way your partner makes a bottle or changes a diaper, and perhaps even be a bit jealous of the space that your partner has to continue living their normal routine. But it's not all butterflies and unicorns for your partner either. Aside from aiding you through your pregnancy and labor process, and as well as learning the ropes when it comes to baby needs, partners are also trying to take care of you emotionally and physically, especially if you've just delivered, via cesarean section or you're showing signs of postpartum depression. And so yes, after all this help from your partner, you might still be temperamental when it comes to who does what, when, and how. And sometimes all it takes to snap is finding out that, he ate the dark chocolate bites you've been saving. But irrational crankiness can be completely normal, and it's not grounds for divorce. You just try these tips to restabilize your relationship. Good sleep is a necessity, not a luxury. Sometimes you got to sleep in shifts, especially in the beginning. Irritability is worsened by dehydration, so please drink your water often. Everybody knows I'm the water Nazi. You are what you eat. Eat with quality in mind. And if you don't remember what that is, go check out our eating webinars, because we talk about that a lot. Enjoy the little things, schedule some me time every day and communicate. You're a team, and parenting is teamwork. So if you feel like, those mood changes don't subside after a few weeks and you're still snapping at things you otherwise wouldn't think twice about, it's really time to reach out to your caregivers. After your baby's born, bonding over meal times and relaxing will turn into bonding while helping each other through changing diaper pails, taking the baby for a walk, cleaning the mashed vegetables out from the crevices of the high chair. It's a whole new level of relationship to know that you're both in this together and that not even a tiny little human can destabilize it. So some things to conquer together as a team include, feeding time. Your partner can handle a bottle, I'm sure, if you can pump or if you're breastfeeding. Bathing, one person can clean, one person can dry. Appointments with health providers, spending time with family members, taking care of each other on purpose, specific things both of you like. Tag teaming for free time. One of the glories of parenthood is learning how to cherish every moment with the ones that you love. So you'll stop taking free time for granted, and you're going to learn how to make the most of every second, especially the ones that you have free. So I'm sure you've noticed your relationship with your partner changing a little bit. So just think about whether or not you're currently working as a team or against each other. And if you feel like you're working against each other, it might be time to have a discussion. Now, new moms often get wrapped in a constant schedule of feeding and changing and snuggling so much that they forget that, life beyond the front door actually exists. And once you've gotten into the routine, you can start getting out of the house and you can start incorporating adventures into your everyday routine. So maybe it's a trip to a museum, which are quiet places, going to a coffee shop, which also could be a quiet place, laps around the park, or a visit to a friend or a family member. Get out of your pajamas, strap the baby on, and cherish the joys of toting around a beautiful baby. I'm sure you're going to get compliments from every direction. And as a new mom, you'll also want to know that you don't require every single baby apparatus to leave the house. Once you're up to the third child, basically shoving an extra nappy and a wipe into your normal bag is more typical than the massive baby hotel and luggage suite that we're tempted to buy. So when you're on your own, getting a big stroller can be too much work and a lot of effort, especially when you can instead leave the car seat in the car and just wear your baby around. So I'm sure you can think of some places that you can go to change the scenery. It's also incredibly easy how easy it is to forget our own needs. Sometimes we forget to eat, we forget to drink, we don't use the bathroom because we're hyper-focused. And now, while that's completely normal and really expected of new moms, putting your own needs aside for too long can really hurt you both physically and mentally and emotionally. Newborns are not able to escape. If they are lying on the bathroom floor on a blanket while you have a shower, it will all be fine, even if they cry a little. I suggest you feed yourself first before nursing where possible, or have ready-made snacks close by for when you need to sit and nurse. If you're feeling a little overwhelmed with prepping those, maybe your partner can do that or your friends can do that for you. Ask for what you need. And dads, if you notice your partner constantly being overwhelmed or dehydrated or getting so hungry that their hunger is passing or going days without showering, it's important to step in and gently offer to take care of the baby so that moms are whoever the predominant parent is can take care of themselves. After all, if a mother or partner is not well, a baby can't be well. So once both parents are aware and comfortable with their new routines revolving around a baby, me time needs to find a way into the schedule for both parents, especially the birthing person. And this can be fit into every time frame. It could be as simple as 5 minutes in a hot shower, 20 minutes of uninterrupted reading time. So start to think about how you might want to spend a little bit of your me time. Now, the most common words of wisdom when it comes to catching some Z's with a newborn is to sleep when the baby sleeps. And, this can be so true. I guarantee you that you'll feel the urge to clean the dishes, do the laundry, call your friends and family and catch up with them, do literally anything that makes you feel productive. But it's really essential sometimes to sleep when your little one is also asleep, especially if you're low on energy early on. So put the thank you notes down, let other people take care of the dishes and the laundry while you catch some much needed sleep. Babies tend to establish a sleeping schedule fairly quickly as newborns, if you're paying attention. So observing when they naturally sleep, eat, and are wakeful or playful over the day and night will help you to figure out what actually is going to work best in terms of your own activities. And, note that newborns don't really know the difference between day and night right away. So their wakefulness at night is not a sign that they're not getting enough rest necessarily, although, of course, you're probably not getting any. I've really observed parents trying to change the natural cycle of a baby because they have certain ideas when things should happen and make themselves crazy with it. So if your kid really wants to be awake in the evening, roll with it. Don't worry that they're not naturally wanting to sleep at 7 p.m. If kids go to sleep at 7 p.m., they're up at 5 a.m. So if you want to be up at 5 a.m., that's great. If you don't, not so great. Most kids will really have a schedule on their own. And then what happens is that over time, you start to see naps disappearing. You start to see naps and gaps disappearing. So naps in the day and gaps at night where they're more wakeful will start to disappear. So when you know what the innate rhythm is, you know what's negotiable and what's not. So for example, if you have a kid who really needs that 2-hour nap at that specific time, there's no point in fighting it. If you know they're best playful hours, you can plan other activities then. It's all a part of listening to your baby. Of course, there's going to be times where something comes up that requires a routine break, but you can make up for it easily if you know the rest of the rhythm. It's also important not to get too excited about your weight at first. It's healthy to gain weight during pregnancy, and your weight will naturally drop as your body readjusts with nursing and activity. Breastfeeding burns like 20 calories for each ounce of milk produced, and that really aids in healthy, gradual weight loss. That's about 100 calories a bottle's worth, and most newborns are having, quite a few bottles. So it's crucial to note you shouldn't be dieting during the first few weeks after labor, and unless it's otherwise noted by your doctor for some reason. You're going to find yourself eating a bit more, sometimes to support nursing, and it's important, of course, to remain hydrated with nursing, but remember that making time for good quality meals is crucial for normalizing weight and optimizing milk production. So again, what you do for yourself, your kids also learn to do. So take your time to eat with intention. There's going to be times when your diet will also affect how your baby's gut is doing, and there are foods that can aggravate a digestive system. You can check out my best friend and pediatric chiropractor's book, The Calm Baby Cookbook, for ideas. That's by my best friend, Dr. Melanie Beingessner, and you can get a copy of that at our office. So do your best to avoid refined carbs, white breads, and sugary foods. That'll make you feel extra tired, especially during those 3 a.m. feeding times. Now, being a new mom shouldn't stop you from being active. In fact, it's recommended to be up and moving as soon as it's physically comfortable to be doing so, especially after a C-section. So while you shouldn't dive straight into jumping jacks moments after giving birth, you should start kind of figuring out how to integrate short, simple exercises into your everyday routine. So try and become more active in small increments as your little one is getting older and you're getting stronger. Keep in mind that overdoing it too quickly can be really detrimental to your recovery. So a visit to your doctor, naturopath, or midwife at your 6 to 8 week postnatal check is usually the green light to add more than walking and Kegels to fitness routine. You can encourage yourself to build up your fitness routine by walking with your friends, picking a scenic route, taking the stairs, parking at the back of the lot, tracking your fitness levels with a diary or a handy app. Calgary has, I think this is where we produce actually the Chariot baby runners. So if you're a running kind of gal, they're super steady and you can easily take your kids on a run. I had the cross-country ski kit for mine, which ran the pod on skis with a waist belt, and that helped the kid at the proper distance behind me for ski kicking. So maybe you'll be able to try that one out if you're a skier. Now, I'm going to touch on this subject again because it doesn't matter how courageous, independent, strong, or educated you think you are. Postpartum depression happens to the best of us. And so, it's often confused with just the simple baby blues, which can happen for a couple of weeks. Postpartum depression can last longer than a few weeks, and it can be absolutely debilitating if it's not addressed. It is so emotionally hindering that most hospitals will instruct significant others on what to look for and who to call should the symptoms arise, and most midwives will do that as well. But sadly, most women feel like it's normal or nothing's wrong, or they're too embarrassed to seek help. And that's why new moms should get comfortable with their support system before giving birth. Support systems can really be found everywhere. And, they vary from online support groups to friends and family members, local meetups. I'm sure you'll be attracted to the one that's right for you. Plus, you always have me to support you if you need it. So don't forget to say, to yourself, I will reach out, and promise me and your little one that you're going to seek help if you think that something's really wrong. Now, I don't want you to ever compare yourself. It really doesn't matter, what your best friend swears by, or what the mother of two said in the mom group, and what your mother-in-law recommends, or what the commercial depicts. Everybody's style of parenting is totally different. And I can literally guarantee that no two mothers agree on every topic exactly. And that's what makes the journey of parenthood so good. There's more than one way to raise a healthy, happy child. I have observed lots of new moms and dads who've really thought about what's important to them and how they want to support their child in their lifestyle and health choices. And I have to say, I've actually been appalled at how some of their families have responded to their choices. Like, I've had families that didn't choose to vaccinate, say, be completely ostracized from family events, even if they were in public places. My own family had some pretty serious reservations about some of my parenting choices. For example, my parents admitted in the last weeks of my pregnancy that they wanted me in the hospital, not at home with the midwife, which was so not negotiable for me. But they never told me in the first 8.5 months. My dad thought my mom should be my main birth support, even though her last birth was 40 years before, and she's really not good in a stressful situation like that. And I think she probably would be the first person to admit it. And then after I gave birth, my mom repeatedly asked me when I was going to stop breastfeeding. And just so you know, I breastfed for 4 years. So that was a lot of questioning. So you've got this. You trust your parental instincts, and what you choose is up to you. And you can always change your mind at your own discretion as you see fit. Your support system should support you no matter what you choose. Don't let anyone tell you how you're doing it is wrong. And don't believe that any parent that says they have this perfect baby. I mean, we all have perfect babies because they're exactly how we made them. But sometimes people do these weird bragging things, when their kid sleeps through the night, ostensibly for their entire existence. I've seen that very rarely in 20 years of practice. So if that sort of talk makes you feel bad, just stop listening to it. So you are going to really need to cherish this journey. Your education is not going to stop here, just by listening to me give you a half an hour of tips. I mean, you're always going to be learning something new if you're open to becoming the best version of yourself for your little one. And so welcome to the Mom Club. We're all in this together. We've all made mistakes. And we will continue to make mistakes. But the cool thing is you have a support system in me and in our resources. And so hopefully you're going to get what you need as we go by it and make some more of these webinars available to you. So our next webinar is actually going to be a little bit more complex. You might have missed our September offering. That was about introducing family values that work. And we talked a lot about child development. And I hope you'll have a chance to listen to that replay. But our next planned event is Holistic Newborn Care in December. And so you can register for that in advance online at helpingdrmom.com or wholelifemedicine.com, which is our resource site. And we will be trying to hold a live event in January 2020. And it's really going to be about looking at child development from a Waldorf perspective. So the workshop's going to basically be an exploration of what we see in our children developmentally from birth to age 21. And it's following the biography, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I've been trained as an anthroposophic doctor for 15 years. Most people don't know this about me, but this is actually the extension into medicine based on Rudolf Steiner's philosophy. And there's a worldwide anthroposophic society and many anthroposophic impulses, one of which is Waldorf schooling. Many people are they've at least heard the term Waldorf schooling. And so ideally, we're going to talk a little bit about that kind of approach to child development, which is a very comprehensive one. And so hopefully my patients are all awesome people. So I know if you all knew each other, you would just be thrilled to no end. So I'm hoping that my new parents or parents of any children whatsoever will be able to come out to that so that we can have a really interesting discussion. And again, I just want to say thanks so much for coming out to this. And don't forget that I've put up here the offer for getting $30 off of our acute illness and kids course for the month of October. Check that out. If you have never done it, it's an awesome course. So thank you so much for participating tonight. I'm so excited, that so many new moms are better informed for this incredible journey. And if you ever think of tips I can add to our webinar series or have a question about anything I covered, please don't hesitate to ask. Just post it to Facebook or email it to our office, and I'll post it to Facebook so that I can answer it for everyone. So welcome to all of our babies, our new ones, our second ones, our third ones, all the way up to our seventh one, I think. Have an absolutely wonderful evening, and I hope to see you on a webinar or at the clinic super soon. Take care, guys.